Good afternoon, Bobcats. Welcome back to another great week at the Helena Middle School. On today's B.O.B Lesson, Responsible Use of Technology, Part Dos. I'm going to talk more about social media and checking our social media imprint and the things that we do on these things a lot of time, and being careful and kind of some guidelines on how to be responsible and respectful online. So this one's a little longer. I'm going to get rocking and rolling on this. Hope you guys make it a great week. All right, and we are off on B.O.B Lesson, Responsible Use of Technology, Part 2. But first, as always at HMS, let's be our best. Let's be safe, let's be responsible, let's be respectful, and let's be a learner. There's technology all around us. New apps are popping up all the time. Technology is continuing to evolve and grow, and there's much information that we can put out there and much information that we can receive. And with all these new apps, we constantly have to think, and think is a cool acronym. Think stands for, is it true? Before we post anything online, think to yourself, is it true, or are we spreading gossip and a rumor? Is it helpful? Is it going to be helpful to other people? Is it going to be inspiring to other people? Is it going to lift other people up, or is it going to be tearing people down? N, is it necessary? Is it necessary? We don't have to put every thought that we have, we don't need to post online. Some stuff we need to keep to ourselves. And most importantly, K, is it kind? Is this kind and nice to other people, or is this harmful and hurtful to other people? So before you post anything on any of these apps, remember to think. All right, let's talk quickly about the truth of the internet. The internet is a great place. It can be full of good people, good information, inspiring information, things that lift us up, but not everybody thinks. And when I say think, I'm talking about the acronym I just talked about in the last slide. Before they post. The internet is full of people that aren't so good and hurtful and harmful information. So my advice to you is, if you're going to be on the internet, remember to take in the good and block out the bad. I, for one, do not deal with negativity on the internet. So if somebody is constantly negative on the internet, I either unfriend them, I unfollow them, I delete them, or I haven't had to block anyone, but if somebody was super bad and trying to get at me, I could block them. Unfriend, unfollow, delete, or block anyone or anything that could be harmful to your well-being. And I like this little thing off to the left. And it says, Tim is on the internet, he sees something that offends him. And there's lots of that out there on social media. But he ignores it, moves on with his life. Good move, Tim. He ignores it and moves on with his life instead of getting caught up in the drama and engaging with it. Something to think about. I'm going to share with you why I'm not personally a huge fan of social media. And social media has really become very popular the last 5 to 10 years. There's new apps, new social media sites coming up. Snapchat is recently new. And this is why I'm not a huge fan of social media. People of all ages, adults do this well, tend to paint a facade or a picture of how their life is. Many times this facade is really inaccurate from reality. And many times this creates negative emotions in other people, sadness, jealousy, anger, etc. A lot of people like to brag, and a lot of people like to showcase just the best in their life. And this can lead to negative emotions in other people, adults included. I know when I see somebody that just took a new trip or just bought a new car, I know that a lot of adults kind of leaves that feeling of, I wish I could have that, or I wish I could have a new car, or do those things. Adults are no different than you kids that are listening to this B.O.B message. I'm not a huge fan of social media because it gives a forum to disrespect other people. Human nature tells us that it's much easier to say things to people from behind a keyboard or behind a smartphone than it is to their face. And this creates a situation where they normally wouldn't do that, but because of this technology, they end up doing something that they may later regret or that they probably shouldn't do. Third reason I'm not a huge fan of social media, it gives people a forum to vent their frustrations or anger in real time. Unfortunately, many times once their emotions have subsided, they wish they hadn't vented on social media, and the truth is they can go delete that comment, but many times the damage has already been done. I've had friends that went on a rampage or a rant on social media, on Facebook, and then later in the day you see that comment is erased, but I remember it, other people remember it, other people talk about it. It's like putting toothpaste on your toothbrush. Once that paste comes out of the tube, you're not getting it back in that tube, and that's the same way with things that we post on social media. I put this in all caps and all bold. Once you hit send on any electronic device, whether that's an iPod, an iPad, a phone, a computer. You can always go and delete it, but it is forever out there in cyberspace. And for those of you that think Snapchat is different, people screenshot that stuff. People take videos of it. People take videos of a video on a different phone. Anytime you hit send, don't hit send unless you're okay with it forever being out there for everyone to see. Phones, iPods these days, they have cameras on them. Back when we were growing up, your teachers were growing up, you had to have an actual camera that you would have to take to Bergam Drug or Walgreens and get it developed before you could do anything with it. Nowadays, you can take a picture really quickly. So I want to share this flow chart with you very quickly when it comes to pictures. Okay? Ask yourself, is it a good photo? If yes, then you can move on. If not, maybe we don't need to be posting that and sharing that with others. Would my friend agree? Doesn't matter if that picture is of your friend. It doesn't matter what you think. It's about what they think. If they don't like it, play nice. Put that photo away, delete it, get rid of it. Could it get my friend into trouble? This is pretty common sense. If the answer is yes, we shouldn't be posting it. If the answer is no, then maybe it's okay to move on. So my friend is okay with it, but how might it affect me? Am I aware that anyone can share it? Once that photo is out there and it is digital, it is easy to copy, paste, send it, post it, screenshot it, and that picture could make its way around the world, literally around the world, within 10 seconds. Think about how scary that'd be. A good measurement is, would I be okay with my grandma seeing it? If the answer is no, probably don't need to be sharing that on social media. Probably need to delete it. And a year from now, will I feel good about making this public? I go back and look at some of my social media stuff from when I was a little younger, and I'm kind of like, what was I thinking? So think about it. Are you going to feel good about this a year from now? If you can answer correctly at all those answers, then go ahead and share away. If not, maybe let's keep that private. All right, when I was doing my school this summer at MBI, all of our teachers, we do continuing ed to be better professionals, to help you guys more, to be better at our jobs. I went to a really interesting conference with a man named Kevin Honeycutt, and I want to share some of his thoughts that struck me for this B.O.B lesson. Social media is as safe as the people who see it forever. Meaning, the things you post out there, it's as safe as the people that can see it, their friends that can see it, their friends that they share it with, and once you post it, it is out there forever. So something to think about. You are what you post online. You are who you associate with online. Let's start with that first part. You are what you post. Okay, that becomes your work. That becomes an extension of the perception of who you are as a person. So if you're using foul language out there on social media, you're posting about things that you shouldn't be posting on, the perception is that represents who you are. So think about it. Also, the people that you retweet, the people that you are friends with, those are your associates. That's how you're going to get judged. That's how you're going to get perceived as being that type of person. So think about the company you keep online. The minute you post something online, it's copyrighted. It is no longer yours. You post something on Instagram, it is now property of Instagram. You put something on Snapchat, it is now copyrighted, and it is property of Snapchat. So something to think about there. Don't be famous for stupid. It doesn't lead to anywhere. In other words, don't be famous for putting stupid things out there. Let's think about the things we put out there. Be famous for being and doing amazing, positive things. I really like that quote from Kevin Honeycutt this summer. Your old best friend forever that is no longer your BFF, your old boyfriend, your old girlfriend, your old friend, your old enemy, etc., still has your chat history from 2 years ago. Think about that. Whenever we're texting, whenever we're putting something on social media, whenever we put something out in an email, even though I know you guys don't email very much, direct message, those people will hold on to those conversations. You don't want to be embarrassed years later about putting something that you shouldn't have put out there. Before you hit send on any of those things, stop and think, please. Finally, what will your college coach or college admissions person's future employer think about what's on your social media someday? I know more people that get fired from the things they put on social media, lose their job, lose their place on a sports team because of the stuff that they put out there. People check, employers check. The first thing they go do, look up somebody's Facebook page. College people, college coaches, they go look at somebody's Twitter page, somebody's Instagram page to find out what they can about that person. Look at the second posting. You are what you post online. I'd like to share this with you. I found this on Twitter, which is, by the way, my favorite social media because I like it. It's all positivity. It's all good stuff. But what does your social media say about you? I found this on Twitter. This was a coach, a recruiting coach from Penn State, dropped another prospect this morning due to his social media presence. Actually glad I got to see the, quote, real person before we offered him a scholarship. How about this one from Duke? Our jobs depend on the young men that we recruit. Your social media pages say a lot about your character, your discipline, and your common sense. Or how about this one from Southern Methodist University? Came across an awful Twitter account today. Shame. The kid was a really good player too. On to the next one. Get a clue. You can be a great player, you can be a great whatever in life, but if you are having a negative social media presence out there, it's going to come back to harm you, and I think this is only going to get worse as we get older and move on in society. All right, that brings us to this week's quote of the week, which is so many young, it says women, but I'm just going to say young people. So many young people treat life as constant status update. It's as if they're more concerned with how their lives look than how their lives feel. And I see so many young people and adults as well that I feel like they have to live this online facade and feel the pressure and anxiety of this online facade that they put forward that is their life. Put the phones down. Just go live your life in the moment and enjoy it in real time. All right, this week's Jellybean Question of the Week winners are Kenzie Criswell, Mark Soul, hopefully I pronounced that right, Mark, Little Zentz, Evelyn Collery, Tristan Pertarb, and Lola Garner. This is so cheesy. The answer was a fish. What do you call a fish with 4 eyes? This week's Jellybean Question of the Week comes courtesy of Michael Damiano. Hopefully I pronounced that right, Michael. A man-woman is washing windows on the 25th floor of an apartment building. Suddenly he or she slips and falls. He or she has nothing to cushion their fall and no safety equipment, but they don't get hurt. How is this possible? If you think you know, submit your answer to the Bob Box no later than Friday. Tune in next week to see if you're a winner. All right, Bobcats, let's go make it a great week. The Helena Middle School.